Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
In a world where podcasts are a dime a dozen, one show dares to stand out from the rest.
The Film Board, a podcast unafraid to tell it like it is.
We're here for one reason and one reason only. Downloads.
That's right. We review new release movies because that's what gets people's attention.
But just because we're in it for the clicks doesn't mean we don't take our job seriously.
We're part of the Next Reel family of film podcasts, and we're proud of it.
Our reviews are just as insightful and thought-provoking as any of our other film podcasts.
It's just that this podcast is all about that sweet, sweet SEO.
The nectar squoze from the tree of Bing.
We're only human, but we're also creators.
And creators eat clicks to survive.
So if you want honest, unfiltered opinions on the very latest movies right on opening weekend,
delivered with the self-awareness of a team looking for downloads,
then tune in to The Film Board,
where every download counts, but yours counts the most.
Do you like movies?
Do you like sports?
I never played that sport on the screen, but I really enjoyed how the movie made me feel.
Well then, have we got a show for you. The Adrian Moment is where my friend Ocean and I discuss the triangulation of sports, movies, and life.
We dive deep into the movies, discussing how they relate to and have affected our lives.
We will talk about why the sport matters to the movie, why you don't have to love the sport to enjoy the movie, and mine a few nuggets of meaning inside the story you may not have realized was really there.
After listening to our show, come join us for more conversations about the movies that portray the thrill of victory
and the agony of defeat.
Find the Adrian Moment podcast on your favorite podcast app and join us while we cover the sports you love and the ones you never think about.
You will never see sports or sport movies the same again.
Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a weekly podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 5-minute segments and then examine them in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Storywell podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, Rob.
2 men, 2 visions, 1 glorious night. Let me explain. Saint Francis of Assisi is said to have started the tradition of live nativity scenes, which many believe led to the origination of the Christmas pageant all throughout Europe during the Middle Ages. Centuries later, Phineas T. Barnum organized an event in 1854 to select and exhibit the handsomest ladies in America, which led to the development of the modern beauty pageant held in Atlantic City, New Jersey in 1921. Who would have thought that both men's visions could join forces one bitter cold evening in the Hamilton County Memorial Hall in Chattanooga, Tennessee, a tale that we will discuss in this episode of the Marvel Movie Minute.
Is that Barnum as in Barnum and Bailey?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, what a circus. Oh, what a show here at minute 61 of Iron Man 3 from 2013, directed by Shane Black, written by Shane Black and Drew Pearce.
I hope right now some people are going, did he just put together St. Francis and Barnum and the world's greatest showman and put it together that it's meaningful for this episode? Oh, children. Just wait.
And you didn't even mention Miss Congeniality, which I think is probably the best beauty pageant movie that they.
Oh, yes. Not 2, though. Not the sequel.
Not two. No.
No. Sorry, Sandra. No.
Yeah, sorry, Sandra. Sometimes once is enough. Here we start minute 61. We're watching another of the propaganda videos of the Mandarin, but this one is not pre-recorded. It's live.
Oh, no.
Not from New York, but from Miami. The Mandarin says, Mr. President, only 2 lessons remain. I intend to finish this before Christmas morning. Meet Thomas Richards. And so it cuts to a wide shot, and there is a man on the floor that is being held at gunpoint by the Mandarin. This is Thomas Richards. He is being played by Tom Virtue. So Thomas being played by Tom. He has... Hold on to your socks, people. 232 acting credits on IMDb.
What?
Yeah, this dude's legit. His first big break also was 21 Jump Street. That thing keeps coming up. I'm telling you. Like,
Wait a minute.
There's a couple of those shows I feel like were like the Law and Orders of their time, where they put out so many episodes and they needed a new person in every single one to, so you'd show up, you're like, look out, Magnum. And that was it. That was you got your SAG card and then you're off and running. I mean, you need bad guys to bust. So he is best known for his role on Even Stevens. For the Disney Channel crowd out there, I would like to give a special shout out to one of my favorite things that popped up. This is one of the joys I get of doing this show is when you get to see a big thing like this with this 232 things. So we could talk about all 232 roles, but you kind of have to cherry pick the ones that are out there. Sure. So for his geek creds, he was on Star Trek Voyager. He was on Firefly. He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So this is not his last time in the MCU, but he played Major Derlin in the Star Wars Return of the Jedi audio drama that was done by NPR.
What? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, and if you've not found those, they are really good. Like they are professionally done. It wasn't a fan thing. This was done under the approval of George Lucas. It is a expansion of all of the Holy Trilogy into audio drama form. And so a bunch of recasting, but there's a bunch of original because, when you write C-3PO, Anthony Daniels calls you on the phone and says, I'm ready.
Yeah. He just shows up. Shows up. Oh, hi, Anthony.
Yeah. We put 3PO in this. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Oh, are you having a concert with music from Star Wars? Oh, I'll narrate it for you.
I'm ready. I'm good. I'd say I respect the hustle. We both met him. He is everything you would hope he would be.
He's fantastic, man. That's awesome.
And I gotta give him credit for, this is his character. And my God, he's going to hold on to it on his yellow chromed fingers for as long as he possibly can.
His gold lame jacket will go anywhere.
So many, people having to hand off their characters because I don't do parades, I don't do this stuff. Oh. And like, this is my character. I am 2PO. Like
Anthony Daniels will do it.
Refusal. That's right. As the gun is being pointed at Thomas Richards, the Mandarin continues, strong name. Good, strong job. Thomas here is an accountant for the Roxxon Oil Corporation. Oh. All right. So this is not quite. There wasn't quite enough for a full deep dive. So let's just skim the surface a little bit here. Okay, so Roxxon Oil is a big thing in Marvel Comics and has been for a long time. It was created by Steve Englehart and Stal Buscema in Captain America number 180 from September of 1974, in an issue titled "The Coming of the Nomad," which is what's Captain America's alternate ego. This is when he got disillusioned with all America, and when it's sort of kind of what we're going to see at the end of A Winter Soldier, that when Cap sort of goes off on his own, this is when he actually took on another persona. He was Nomad for a while. So Roxxon Oil, this is not the first time they have been in the MCU though, because they were first seen in the battle between Ironmonger and Tony in Iron Man 1. They were in Iron Man 2. Do you remember where they were in Iron Man 2?
Oh, there was an ad or something. Yes. At the expo.
It was close. Yes, it was at Monaco.
Oh,
they sponsored one of the drivers.
Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that now. Okay, yes, thank you.
They actually didn't say that now. They might have had a pavilion at the expo too. But yeah, that's the way I had them. I think they were on the gas pump. Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer. So that's the gas that Agent Coulson is getting is from Roxxon Oil, and the actual company itself has been featured in Agent Carter, the Daredevil, and Cloak and Dagger. They actually had plots about them, the origins and what the evil things they did, and they actually are directly responsible for the powers of Cloak and Dagger. Thomas is starting to cry because he thinks he's going to die. Probably a good bet. He said, but I'm sure he's a really good guy. I'm going to shoot him in the head live on your television in 30 seconds. So Thomas says, no. The Mandarin says, the number for this telephone is in your cell phone. Exciting, isn't it? Imagining how it got there. America, if your president calls me in the next half hour, Tom lives. Go. And so we cut back to Air Force One, and it's full on panic of what are we going to do? So the president then does pull out his phone and says, how did he hack my phone? And the number displayed is 011-92-51-556277. I can find no relevant information on like why they picked this number. It's too many numbers for any type of even international calls. And in my Google searching of it, all I could see is people talking about this. So it all sort of circles back around. I don't know if it, but they very clearly display it on screen. So I don't know if it has a secret meaning to somebody in there. You can kind of parse out a little of it if you want to do like birthdays or something, like maybe somebody was born in 6/2/77 is the last one, but I don't know. I couldn't really find anything in the. I think in the early days we used to do like numerology breakdowns, but it's too big of a number to go that far with. So a government official, number 2 and credited, says we can't allow terrorists to dictate. The president says I have to make this call, and the government official says I'd strongly advise against that. This is Roy McCreary. He has 61 credits on IMDb. He got his big break on. Come on, Rob.
Wait, say it again. What?
Where he got his big break on what show? It's come up again and again.
On 21 Jump Street?
Close. In the heat of the night.
No, not in the heat of the night.
Yes. That was his first big role.
Wait, what is going on here with that?
I honestly, I think it's just, they just put out a ton of episodes.
Yeah, I think you're all right. Okay.
Like it's like the thing with Firefly. It's lasted 13 episodes, if even that. You have a couple of people, but when you had done 150 episodes or whatever,
no,
you're gonna build up.
No, and you're right. And I think we've said this. Like when you have cast members that have to come in and out because they're one-use characters. Yeah, you get a lot of work.
Right, you come in, you try and fool Columbo, and you don't. And then he takes you away, like you don't come back.
So do you think, well, no, because not everyone's in the room, obviously, and filming scenes are all over the place. It would be cool if you could have like a little reunion of your like in the heat of the night cast. Right?
Yeah, you wonder.
Like, hey guys, hey, what's going on? What you been doing? That's kind of great.
Man, Carol O'Connor, right? They're like, oh yeah, Carol O'Connor. I mean, come on. So if you don't recognize his face, you might recognize his voice because he is actually a narrator. He has narrated documentaries for the Learning Channel and the Smithsonian Channel and has over a dozen audiobooks out there. So you put his stentorian voice to work. Another connection to the True Story family. He was in Blood Red Sky, which we talked about on Sitting in the Dark. So another little connection to, you can go check out that show, which I'm also on it, as is our podcast impresario, Mr. Pete Wright. So that is where minute 61 comes to an end. 62, the president is still going to do this, even though his staff thinks it's a bad idea. He says, this is the right thing to do. So he picks up his phone, he calls the number, and we see a classic old-fashioned phone sitting on the table next to the Mandarin, like a rotary dial phone. And it's not a classic. It's like one of those ones that like people who have way too much money and their houses are too big. It's like one of those like crazy fancy ones. It's just totally outrageous. It doesn't fit in that space, which is why it's there. But the phone rings. The phone rings. But the Mandarin sort of looks dead into camera and then fires the gun and kills poor Thomas.
Okay. Time out. We don't see the actual. We don't see him actually.
But we see everyone in Air Force One react to it. So it did happen on camera.
It happened on camera. They see it.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember seeing this in the theater and going, well, now what do you do?
Yeah. But I guess the thing is, do we take it as this really happened, or do we take this as this is another layer of deception?
Well, wait a minute. Based on the reactions of the people who are watching this, they saw the guy get shot in the head.
They did.
So right there, I'm thinking the guy got shot in the head.
Okay.
But also, if you're watching this, if you're the government, whatever, you said to call you, I'm calling you. You sit there and go, ha, psych, bang. Then that's it. There's at that point, you have no more control over us saying anything because we don't believe you.
Oh, yes.
So you have lost all your leverage on anything now you say. What is the point of this moment?
I think the point is crazy. Like, okay, so I actually think this is a deception. Like, I don't think, because as we're going to find out, this Mandarin is an actor. I don't think like Trevor, even with all the stuff that he's done, would actually murder a guy for a gig. Like, he's got pretty good, but I don't think he would commit murder on the camera. So I think my personal fan theory, this is a work. This is fake. Like, he didn't actually kill that guy. Yeah, it's a work. Yeah.
Not a shoot. No pun intended.
Not a shoot. Yeah, exactly. but a work. This is. I think it's. I don't think that Trevor actually killed that guy.
Do you get the impression though in his face?
I think they had a special effect, like it was like a thing that everyone saw and they thought it was. But I think
or he was told
cut, and Thomas keeps up and like, all right, thanks a lot.
Or he was told it was a special effect.
Yeah, that's true too. That could be. I don't think Trevor intentionally murdered that dude. Like, gig's a gig, but come on.
Here's my question. Did Trevor expect the phone to ring?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? I think
that because we're going to find out why they did this later on. There's a reason why he had them make that call.
I think the
point is to get the president to call and not think about it too much, just to make that call. None of the rest of that stuff matters. Like the message doesn't matter. The shooting doesn't matter. None of that matters. All it matters is, will the president make the call?
Oh, I think in his face, because they're on Trevor's face when the phone rings.
Yes.
You kind of see him blink like an extra moment where I think he's like, "Oh, what do I do?" Well, you have to bleep that out. Sorry. No, I mean, like, that's where he's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Was he supposed to call?" I don't know. I think this scene is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's really for an audience of one, really, because I mean, all the stuff like the broadcasting this live essentially to make it so that he can't not call.
Yeah, right. No, well, sure.
My fan theory is that no, it's all fake, because we know that none of this matters. The Roxxon guy, the message doesn't matter. Like the all the stuff he's saying doesn't matter.
But what if, like, here's the thing. What if you pulled the plug? What if the phone wasn't connected to anything?
Yeah. Because honestly, they might just have like a sound effect ready in case he didn't call. They're like, oh crap, we'll have to try something else. But for the live show, they're going to have a thing so that the audience goes, oh, he called.
Wouldn't the play be to, regardless of whether or not he calls, make everyone think he didn't call, thus killing the guy?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously, that's the thing. I think the president made the right decision.
Oh, yeah, he did. But I don't. Their point, though, is, don't you want to start making people turn on I don't understand.
I know. I don't think so. No, like, that's not the message.
That's not the end. Yeah.
Obviously, okay. So that fan theory. That's my idea, is that this is a work. The other way is to establish that the Mandarin cannot be reasoned with. So that's like the message. So this is what they're putting out. Like, this is AIM's goal.
Oh, okay.
The Mandarin cannot be reasoned with. He cannot be bargained with. He's going to do it, and there's nothing you can do to stop him.
Okay,
like, he told you to do one thing. You did the thing. He doesn't care.
Didn't matter. Okay, you sold me on that.
AIM branding. That's them sitting around at a table, like, okay, what are we going to have him say? Like, that's his AIM's think tank of like, okay, we need to establish that we're getting towards the end. This is the end of their movie. We have to establish that he's dangerous, and what are we going to do?
Gotcha.
The whole goal of it is get him to make that call.
Got it. Okay.
So Thomas Roxxon is dead. The Mandarin says, there's just one lesson left, President Ellis. So run away, hide, kiss your children goodbye, because nothing, not your army, not your red, white, and blue attack dog, can save you. I'll see you soon. I mean, man, when you hire Ben Kingsley, you get Ben Kingsley, because he delivers that line is just so cold.
It's great.
It's terrifying. It's like that. That's the thing, is when people, I can tell you then, having listened to a bunch of interviews with Shane Black, he knows that you don't like this movie because apparently all the messages he's gotten, like I heard him interviewing when he was out for The Nice Guys, when he was doing a promotion for that, he thinks that every Marvel fan hates him for this movie. Yeah. I was like, that's not that.
I don't hate you. I mean,
we don't hate you. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Like he thinks it's the Mandarin thing. So like, he's out there in his head walking around like, wow, I really messed that up, which is one of the reasons I think why we've never seen him back in the Marvel Universe, because he thinks that he did this movie badly and pissed off all the fanboys, and then doesn't want to come back. because he thinks that he failed.
Okay, tell everyone right now. You see him. All you do is you walk up to him and you say, "Hey, I don't hate you," and just walk away. That's it. We should start a whole new plan. Hashtag I don't hate you. Shane Black, everybody, let's go.
Yeah, there are so many more sins that are so much worse than anything that he didn't hear. But yeah, we'll talk about more about the twist when the twist comes.
Oh, okay.
The next call, President Ellis says, "Tell Rhodes, find this lunatic right now." So the military aide says, "We track the broadcast signal. We have a possible origin point in Pakistan, and the Patriot is ready to strike." And that's a line later off camera. The President says, "Right now." The military says, "Yes, sir." As minute 62 comes to an end. As we get to 63, Tony is doing some very unsafe driving. For a man who pilots around a suit, this is really bad precedent.
Stop reading paper files while you're driving.
Exactly. Like, you don't even know where you're going. Like, pull over. This is a perfect opportunity for a diner scene where you're sitting there and looking at all this stuff. So we did mess this up. We did not mention before that when he pulled Chad Davis's file, it said MIA on it. And now as Tony flips the page over, he realizes that MIA on the top was actually AIM backwards. It was AIM. That's pretty good. I imagine that was like them, that they're like, writing the script, like, and then he flips it over and it's AIM because they both like, high five, let's go to lunch. Nice. Like that was that was in there, and they set up, and it was one of those like, oh, okay, nice. So so Tony is talking to himself, and he says, "Man, happy." So like, first thing I thought was happy, joy, but no, he's thinking of happy and like, what did you find and what were you trying to lead me to, and that. So we then cut back to the Iron Patriot. So Rhodey has kicked down a door and marched in and says, "Don't move," which, once again, why is he speaking English? Like, he is flown to Pakistan. Why would any of these people understand when you say "don't move"? And obviously, big robot guy in American flag comes in pointing guns at you. You're gonna stop. But
it's so goofballish. I mean, it's just it's outrageous. Yeah.
As he's talking there, his suit starts ringing, which I think it's interesting that Tony has a direct line to the Iron Patriot armor.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because he goes on, and then he says, "Hang on a second," and he does a little gesture on the hand to the side and says, "Hello?" Like, he picks up the phone essentially in the helmet. And Tony goes, "You ever have a chick straddling you and you look up and suddenly she's glowing from the inside out, kind of a bright orange?" And this is what's great about Rhodey is he says, "Yeah, I've had that. Who is this?" The Don Cheadle delivery on this is so perfect.
Dude, wait. Can we just talk about this?
Yeah.
That is not cool. Rhodey should not talk about Carol Danvers like that.
Oh, snap. Bringing the deep 616 lore. Nice.
Am I wrong? When I review, okay, I hadn't thought about this again.
Yeah.
When he says that now, as you know, and I have a little bit of comic knowledge about this, is that what that means? Is that why there's more to it than just it's a funny response?
No, I wonder if at one point there was another, like, this is like a callback to like Tony and Brandt, like that she was like seducing him or something, and then started to glow. Then he realized like that's another deleted scene kind of thing. But
no,
it's just like, I also love that it's a, "Hey, Rhodey, it's Tony." Like, he just immediately launches into this bizarre question that.
Well, wait a minute. I just want to say this though. What? If you think of this in terms of that, it's Carol Danvers, and look it up, because they are together. They have a big relationship in the comic universe.
That's true. Yeah.
It is hinted at in a famous post-credit scene later on, or even in a movie, because they look at each other kind of funny in one of the other movies.
Yeah, if they give a look.
Rhodey, there's something that don't do Carol like that.
At this point, Carol is out and like fighting Kree, right? Like, she's out somewhere in space, just being a.
But what happened in the 90s?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This is after that. So she left Earth in like 95.
Maybe she came back. Maybe she
come back until.
Well, you don't know that.
I don't know that. That's true.
Oh, I love the idea that this is Carol Danvers.
reference to them. Just like, comes by, just flies back to Earth and goes on a date with Rhodey and then flies
And
off
then
again.
things happen, and so
But let's not forget, this still might be Skrull Rhodey.
oh no. Oh, you ruined it. Oh my God, man.
We still don't know. We still don't know.
Okay, forget this whole part, everybody.
Okay, so Rhodey says, yeah, I've had that. Who is this? And Tony says, it's me, pal. Now, last time I went missing, if I remember correctly, you came looking for me. What are you doing? Like, Tony seems a little hurt that Rhodey didn't drop everything and go flying around trying to find him. Rhodey says, a little knock and talk, making friends in Pakistan. What are you doing? Tony says, your redesign, your big rebrand. That was AIM, right? Rhodey says, yeah. Tony says, I'm going to find a heavy-duty ComSat, and that's where 63 ends at 64. Right now, I need your login. Okay, so this is where we then find out that the government has been doing work with AIM, which we did not know that before, correct?
No.
Like, we knew that like he came to Killing came to Pepper to get help with with extremists as funding and stuff too. We did not know that he had actually been doing government contract work. So I guess this is a little bit of an allusion to the fact that they no longer have Justin Hammer. So Justin Hammer is out of the picture and Hammer Industries down. So AIM, I feel like, has sort of stepped into that role because they did the redesign on the armor. So that means that the AIM technicians like helped redesign and all this stuff. They had their hands in this armored that Rhodey's currently wearing, which doesn't really come up anymore, but like they or just a dead concept art. I don't know.
No, that makes sense though. But that actually makes that's a good connection. Yeah.
Rhodey says it's the same as it's always been. War Machine 68.
Oh man.
I don't know. It was like I couldn't find any connection specifically to War Machine and Rhodey and 1968. So I think it's just like the fact that it isn't War Machine 69, right? That's the joke.
Yeah, I would think Cheadle was born in 64. So I mean,
I don't know where the 68. It's just, it must be, it's just next door.
Great.
So Tony says, and password, please. Rhodey says, well, look, I got to change it every time you hack in, Tony, which is fun. This has been an ongoing thing between the two of them. And Tony says, it's not the 1980s. It's not the 80s. No one says hack anymore. Give me your login. Rhodey says, War Machine rocks with an X, all caps. And I guess I was wrong because everyone in the room starts laughing. So they clearly are hearing his side of the conversation, or maybe both sides of the conversation because I don't know the context. And they all laugh. And then he puts his his hand up and everybody stops laughing really quick because you don't want to make the guy in the iron suit angry. And Tony's laughing about this. And he says, that is so much better than Iron Patriot. So War Machine rocks. Somebody out there has that as a tattoo.
And as a password.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. So then we saw Tony had driven by as he's driving along the highway in Tennessee, has left Rose Hill. He passed a building, and originally I thought this was a continuity error. I was like, oh, they just reused footage of him driving along. But then he stops and turns and goes back to that building. And so this is the Hamilton County Memorial Hall, which is actually the Keenan Memorial Auditorium at 441 North Main Street, Kenansville, North Carolina. And it's still there as far as Google Maps is concerned. You can drop a little pin down and it looks just like this. They just changed the actual signage, but the building is still there and probably is still hosting events. We go inside and we see that there is a beauty pageant going on. The MC says, very nice, very nice. I have one question for you. What would you like for Christmas this year? So the MC is Bobby Tisdale. He has 31 credits on IMDb. He was in You Don't Mess with the Zohan, but she didn't think I'd be bringing that movie up.
No, I did not see that.
Iron Man 3. His big thing that he's done a lot of is he is a credited writer on almost 200 episodes of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. So before Jimmy Fallon got the Tonight Show, he was on Late Night. He's probably best known as the voice of Zeke from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
And so as we go into deep cuts, special shout out because he was in a very undersung and almost nobody saw it movie from 2005 called The Baxter, which is done by some of the guys from The State. The premise is sort of like When Harry Met Sally, that when Sally's together with like a different guy, like what's that guy's story? So they nicknamed that type of character The Baxter, of like it's always the guy who gets shafted in the whole rom-com thing, like the regular guy who's just like he's a violinist who has sinus problems or whatever, like that. He's always the one who goes outside. What if the movie was about him? And like suddenly this charismatic guy comes and steals your girl and kind of stuff too. It's a very, very funny movie, but did not get it was an independent film and did not get a lot of love. So,
although that's cool. You had me at Bob's Burgers. Big Bob's Burgers fan.
I put that in there specifically because I knew you would love that.
That's you heard my reaction. That's fantastic. Okay.
So Miss Elk Ridge then says, well, David, and this is Yvonne Zima. She has 50 credits on IMDb. Her first big break was on Roseanne. And she also did 22 episodes of ER because she was a child actress. She was Dr. Green's daughter.
Oh, what?
This is not the first, and she's not in here by accident. Oh, no. Shane Black specifically put her in here because she also played the daughter in Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh.
So he knew her as a child actor because he wrote Long Kiss Goodnight and brought her back to do this one. And she then also shows up in The Nice Guys. Like she's a friend of Shane Black's.
Wait, remind me, that's Dr. Green. So wait, that's Alex Kingston is not her mom. But that's that's right. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I think one season. I think 22 episodes. I think probably one season.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So she was a child. She actually recently wrote for and appeared on Our Flag Means Death. Rest in Power. That was a great show. Unfortunately, a victim of the the machinations of Warner Brothers. Slashing and burning their way through all of their stuff that they own. We see Tony then working his way through all the media that is outside of this building. We've cut from the beauty pageant going on to the people outside who are actually doing the work. We hear a crew member saying, "Do not race any program for my DVR unless you're." But we don't exactly know what's going on there. As Tony sneaks on with once again a brilliant disguise. He just picks up some cord and walks in like he's a workman. Nobody says a thing.
So wait, I have a question. Yeah. He's gone back to the town.
No, he when they were driving, he's out of Rose Hill, so just one town away, and drove by a building and then saw that there were satellite dishes. Essentially, he saw that there were news crews, so he knew that he could get some sort of satellite uplink thing. So he looks like apparently this is another thing that was hugely different. Like this was a much longer scene where he sees a thing, and there's actually there's a whole cut sequence where he put tear gas into this beauty pageant to make everybody run out. So in the chaos, he could sneak into one of the trucks and do it. I was like, wow.
Well, wait a minute. No, because hold on a second. Because okay, you see this beauty pageant. The next scene, there are tons of people, firemen in full fire fatigues, an ambulance in the background, and I was like, what happened here?
The gag
what that's from?
Yes, the gag apparently was that another there was more lines that Yvonne as Miss Elk Ridge had, that she was starting to tell a story, and then she started crying, and then the MC started crying, and the audience started crying, and then they realized, oh, they've all been hit with tear gas, and everybody freaks out and goes running around, and so that's why. And then it's in the chaos, that's when he sneaks in and does this, and they decided to do away with that, which was a wise idea, because the idea that you're already pushing Tony Stark to the edge. Some of the stuff they talk about that they had in versions of the script, I was like, I don't want to get too much into that's not what heroes do, but that's not what heroes do.
Well, okay. By the way, we didn't even get into the fact that all these lovely ladies that are competing in the Miss Chattanooga pageant, one of them is Chattanooga. There was a lot of confusion here I had.
Yeah, and you can see why. So as they and so Tony is sneaking through all the crowd as stuff going on. He sneaks into a 2010 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. That is the type of truck that is on there. It is a WZBZ Chattanooga news van, essentially.
And he's got his cowboy hat on.
That's right. He's got that's cowboy hat that he had gotten from Harley, which, like we talked about, had been he had used previously in a deleted scene. That was part of his disguise, because apparently more than just ball caps can keep you disguised, even for Iron Man. As going through, then we see one more time Miss Elkridge, everybody at MC says, and we cut to a footage of one of the judges, and there he is. It's Stan the Man Lee, who gives Miss Elkridge a 10. I assume out of 10.
Okay, wait a minute. First of all,
Stanley cameo. So Excelsior.
Okay. But wait a minute. Why are there? We've gone now back to the feed from the pageant.
Yes, we're like cutting back and forth. Like,
why are there ambulances and firemen? Like this editing of this doesn't make any sense.
They were hoping nobody would, go a minute by minute and look at this that closely. There's like, there's a lot of things going on. So that's the reason that the news van is there is not that they were doing the footage of it. It's that someone launched tear gas attack on a beauty pageant, and the news crew showed up to cover it, and that's how he got them to show up to use the satellite footage. Not that they were there, so they re-edited it so that they were covering it, like they're doing footage. So that footage you see of Stanley in the box was actually supposed to be just him sitting at the table. And they just put it in the little box so that it was like as if that's what you're seeing the broadcast is.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I would love to see like the 45-minute Rose Hill adventure, but I will never put that stuff out because apparently they shot it. They shot the whole tear gas thing. They shot all of it.
No, I want Iron Man 3.3. I want it. Right. I want the full 3-hour cut. Because I want to understand this. I think this would be a better movie, to be really honest with you. But
yeah, I would like to see the original, even just they never put out a script, so we never get to sort of see what it is. As we get minute 65, we see Tony using a tool that I myself use on a regular basis, speedtest.net. It is still a good resource out there. I use it all the time to make sure, you can see that a computer is connected to the internet, but you don't actually know if it's getting out until you do something. So I use speed test all the time to like ping to just go out and come back to make sure it's actually getting uploads and downloads and isn't just connected to the local network. So
great tool.
I'm sure I'm sure they were a sponsor because it's a prominent screen thing. Once again, the glowing advertising of Iron Man 3. Here it is lit up on there. So then Tony's inside, doing his hacking thing, and the cameraman is what he's titled as comes in and is still arguing about something about his DVR. It says, because you erased my shows. And so Tony sees it from his the speed that he did on the speed test. He said that ain't going to cut it. That's just saying that's not enough speed, for upload download. The camera says, we talked about this. Excuse me, sir. I don't know who. And then Tony turns around and we see Tony Stark meets Adam Pally. So Adam Pally has 95 acting credits on IMDb, probably best known recently for Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, great.
This is fun. His first big break was on Californication, as his character was named Young Hollywood Douchebag.
Oh, he has come a long way.
He sure has. He's probably best known for either Happy Endings, which was a wonderful sitcom, or The Mindy Project. But for nerd lore, he was in The Mandalorian. Do you know where he was? Just his voice, even though he did it in full costume. Do you know where he was? He was in a very famous scene from The Mandalorian.
No. Wait, I don't know.
If you remember, at one point, 2 biker scouts kidnap Grogu and are holding him there. The one biker scout is played by Jason Sudeikis of Ted Lasso fame. The other is Adam Pally.
No way.
If you go back and watch that scene, you can hear clear as day that this is the same.
Oh, that's awesome.
The same voice. So very cool. He really did it too. He actually got to go. He has a picture of himself in the biker scout uniform, like actually went down there and shot it. So
nice.
So now we get to see Tony meets a fanboy. So
not a fanboy, the fanboy.
Yeah. Tony says, even Peter Parker was cool compared to Adam here. Cameraman says, Mom, I need to call you back. So it turns out that's who he was arguing with about the DVR, is that it was his mom deleting stuff off his DVR. Oh, Rob, remember DVRs?
Oh, TiVo.
I love my TiVo. I loved it so much.
TiVo was so great.
It was perfect. It was the exact right thing. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And unfortunately, the world left it behind, but it wasn't TiVo's fault. It's just one of those things.
It was ours. It was
It was proudly on my thing, like TiVo remote, right next to my Zune and next to my HD DVD player as obsolete technologies that they're still functioning in our hearts. So he says something. Mom, I need to call you back. Something magical is happening.
That is a great line. Yeah. I need to start using that more in everyday language because yes, I want way more magical things happening in my day.
That is really, really good. Something magical is happening. Tony Stark is in my van. So Tony says, shh, keep it down. And he still continues on. Tony Stark is in my van. Like, no, he's not. I knew you were still alive. So it's interesting. So now we get to see that a lot of people, there's maybe discussion going on about is Tony Stark dead? Because obviously this is still the same night. Still blown away by this. This is still the same night. Like in the afternoon, his house was destroyed. This is the same evening.
It doesn't make sense, but yeah,
it's a wild night for Tony. He says, "Come in, close the door." So he climbs in. He's still trying to shush him. He goes, "Oh wow, can I just say, sir?" He says, "Yeah, I'm your biggest fan." He's like, "Okay, first, is this your van? Is anyone else going to come in?" No, just us. Great. What's your name? Gary. So now we find out that this is Tony's number one fan is Gary. Oh, wow. Tony says, right there is fine because he gets a little too close. Luckily, he doesn't try to hand him anything. He doesn't like being handed things. And it's interesting that this point, I feel like we have almost crossed the line because this isn't Tony Stark anymore. This is Robert Downey Jr. Because I imagine he has this effect on a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because he says, I get a lot of this. It's okay. It's like, okay, can I just say? Tony says, what do you want? He says, yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I have patterned my whole look after you. And so he realized that he has the same goatee as Tony. He takes off his hair, and he really does look a lot like Tony Stark. You can see that he has done all this to make him look like that way. He says, my hair's a little, it's not right. There's no product in it. He says, right. He says, I don't want to make things awkward. And that is where minute 65 comes to an end.
Do you want to know?
Man, Adam Pally is so good in this scene.
Wait, first of all, love it. I will tell you, one of the strengths of this movie, outside of its faults, wonderful little moments with Tony and random people.
Yeah.
And I consider Harley a random person still because, right? Yeah. Absolutely great. I forgot about this and I very much am enjoying these little moments. Yeah. So I think that has been cool. And I think it's also been a cool part of his character. I laughed, though, when I saw that the minute literally ended at the word awkward.
Awkward, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they talk in the commentary a lot about how they were trying to emulate Frank Capra. So the idea is that this is Frank Capra-esque. So they said even from him in the snow, it's a whole thing. And Sullivan's Travels was another thing that they referenced too. So the idea is that Tony's on this journey and he's meeting all these people along the way. So that's part of their overall vision of it, is that he's having moments like this. So this is actually designed essentially to put him in contact with people that he wouldn't be. So as opposed to the Avengers, where he's hanging out with space gods and, assassins and also Hawkeye, he's then hanging around with the ordinary people.
Wow. Sorry, Hawkeye fans.
I know that was a drive-by on that one, but I love the character Hawkeye. And I do not associate him with the MCU Hawkeye at all. I don't know who that guy is.
Okay.
So that was
that was pretty good. You know what? Interesting. I got a lot of feelings. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm as we hear we're about at near halftime. I think halftime is coming up here pretty soon.
Oh my God, that's
maybe
amazing.
Next time. I have to do the math on that one, but yeah, it's interesting that we're seeing fantastic action, like action sequence, special effects sequences, and Iron Man armor stuff. Really, the character interactions are really good, and the connective tissue is kind of weak.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe when we hit the next one, we're gonna have to do a little check-in and see halfway through where we think we're at here. But in the meantime, don't be a Hawkeye. You can join the best team out there, which is the TrueStory.fm family. If you go to TrueStory.fm/join, you can become a member, not a patron. Look, become a member of our elite squad, and you can get access to early recordings, Discord channels, all the fun stuff. It's only $5 a month or $55 for a year. So if any of you are, recently have come into some money from the tax rebates, maybe you can throw some our way and help us keep making the amazing weird stuff and occasional digs at Hawkeye.
Or you could just grow a beard like us.
That's true.
Or if you can't grow a beard, get a fake beard or something.
Yeah, beard bros. So we'll be back here for minute 66 as we get Tony and meets his number one fan. And then we will finally be leaving the lovely town of Rose Hill, Tennessee. We'll be there. Don't miss it. Enough said.
Bye.